So what BRANZ can do for the Australian market is the same as we've done for the New Zealand market, is we can provide confidence in the fact that the system you're using is going to meet the requirements, or is going to deem it to satisfy, which is what your code calls up. So we go through the same process as we do for the products in New Zealand, and we check against your building code. We check that it's got 3740, that it's got 4858, or it's got 4654 if it's external. Check all of those factors, and then we do what we do in New Zealand. We go and look at sites, we check your installation information, we check your quality, we make sure that it's been manufactured by a reputable firm who has got quality systems in place and can make a quality, consistent product. I think that's the key, is the consistency. Because we check, as we talked, every 12 months, we're making sure that consistency is there. So that then provides the Australian market with the fact that, okay, someone independent, not the manufacturer, has said that this product, this system is going to do the job. It's going to waterproof under these tiles, it's going to waterproof that roof, it's going to waterproof below ground. I don't have to take any risk anymore.
But we would need then some layer of authority to support that. Because in New Zealand, as I know, for example, like you've got the CCC I've heard, where you've got, I can't go and sell my house in New Zealand if it hasn't sort of ticked the boxes with the correct system, because no one will get a bank loan.
Yeah, as a builder, if I'm building a house for you, I put my specification in, I proceed to build my house. Then the city councils and all different the territorial authorities inspect it at different stages and sign it off. So once the foundation's done, they sign it off, and then generally the next one is once the roof's on. Then when the cladding system's gone on, they sign it off. Then they come in and check interior, so they're looking to make sure that the waterproofing membrane is installed, and who's installed it, are they trained to install that system, is that system got a BRANZ approval or an approval from someone else to say it is fine under tiles. All of that goes together, and then there's a code of compliance is signed off. The banks won't give the builder, or the banks won't give me as the person, or you as buying the house, your final payment to pay the builder unless they've got that, because that means that house has been built to the specification as agreed at the beginning.
So you've tightened that system up over there really well.
It's always been there. We went through a stage in the late 80s and the 90s when we did use independent building certifiers. That wasn't as successful as it might have been, but now it is all controlled within local government.
Commercial buildings then, Russell, how does that differ? Same thing, okay. So you guys do your inspections on site?
Yep. If it's a product that's used, in all waterproofing membranes, these systems, they go onto both commercial and domestic. So the only difference between a commercial and a domestic could be some of the level of detail. For a torch-on material, you might have a wider lap if it's at the top of a 27-storey building because you've got greater wind loads.
But if I'm buying an apartment in a multi-storey building, the bank's still going to be able to see from the builder the
whole lot's been signed off. The code of compliance is there, and you won't buy that apartment until that's all those I's are dotted and the T's crossed.
And that's one of the things that I think where we might have a disconnect here. I mean, implementing an appraisal system or independent system is a start, but we need, like I said before, we need some level of authority that's going to oversee it, to ensure things like, even with banks, lending builders, because I know banks and insurance companies are all connected, and there's got to be some sort of, yeah, exactly right, and someone's going to be paying a price.
There's no consequence in Australia, as I understand it from our discussions, if I don't use an approved product or system. In New Zealand, the consequence is you won't get the CCC, and if you don't get the CCC, you won't get it sold, you won't get your money. You won't get your insurance. Once again, the insurance is tight. Bank. If I go to the insurance company to insure my house, they want to know that it's been built to the standard, that it's been signed off by someone that it's built to the standard, because why would they want to insure a house that's going to fail?
Yeah, well, that's what I said before. At the moment in Australia, I could have a CSO or an Arnold laboratory certificate that says this product's been tested and it's got all the readings and results of the test for 4858, and at the end of the day, if a builder says that product's been approved, it's been tested, that's all they need, it's passed that standard, it's used. And so there's no proof that what was in the test laboratory and what's used on site is the same thing, which unfortunately we see that happening out there. And secondly, what ends up happening is that how that system is to be installed, you've taken a snapshot of the physical properties of a membrane in a laboratory being tested, the elongation, tensile, adhesion strength, but not how it works in the system of what's on site. I know when we did our BRANZ appraisal with you guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but we had to get extra testing done on things like the shear testing, the tile adhesives on the membrane,
Yes.
I recall, cold flexibility, which is in addition to the 4858 because of, you know, understanding where the thermal movement happens. And we've got parts of Australia, you know, inland Victoria during the winter months where the snowfields are, Tassie, and we've got different conditions up north which will impact the membrane. You know, heat and humidity can potentially soften some systems, which I know with tiles is not always the best either. So little things like that are not overseen. But I think where that is the problem here at the moment, is that is all you need. And so it just proceeds from there.
Yeah, the big thing I always think, and it's the point I push across whenever I'm doing presentations, with it is a snapshot in time. It is testing this pen here, this one, not the one made before it, not the one made in 12 months' time, this one. Okay, so when we tested this one, it's fine, it did everything. Do I know that it's still going to be fine, the one that comes off the line in 12 months' time? No, I don't. But with the BRANZ appraisal, the way we work and the fact we do the revalidation, I do know that this pen is now still as good as the one that we tested 12 months ago. And that is the consistency, and that's what, in New Zealand especially, and I would like to think eventually in Australia, the market wants. They want to know that the product is still as good as the day when it was appraised.
So I can hear questions from these blokes out there listening to this right now.
Yep.
The next big one I'm going to put here. What's it done to the cost of construction in New Zealand since you've implemented this? Has it made homes and buildings more expensive to go through the BRANZ appraisal or to have this system in place?
I would think, and you as a manufacturer would appreciate this, it must have added a cost to each bucket, because it's not a cheap thing to get a BRANZ appraisal. It's not overly expensive when you compare to some of the other systems around the world. So it must add a little bit of a cost, but I would think, well, I'm actually know that the increase in cost in terms is versus the increased performance expectations and the decrease in risk to the building owner is more than offset.